I refused to take my boyfriend back after he called me names one too many times. My boyfriend Mike and I had been dating for almost a year. When we first got together, he sat me down and told me he had anger issues. He said it was something he'd been working on but wanted me to know up front. I told him I understood that everyone gets angry sometimes, but I made it really clear that as long as he didn't disrespect me or make me feel unsafe, we could work through it. He agreed and said he'd never cross those lines. For the first few months, things were amazing. Mike would leave me these sweet notes on my car before work. He'd tell me I looked beautiful even when I was wearing sweatpants with my hair in a messy bun. He made me feel like the most important person in the world. But then the anger started showing up. At first it was small stuff. He'd get frustrated about traffic or a bad day at work and snap at me over nothing. Then he'd apologize an hour later and everything would be fine. But it kept getting worse. One night we were arguing about whose turn it was to do dishes, and he called me a lazy bee king. I froze. That was my boundary and he knew it. He apologized the next morning, brought me coffee, said he didn't mean it and would never say it again. 2 weeks later, he called me a HYM because I wore a dress to my friend's birthday party that he thought was too short. Again, he apologized, said he was just jealous and insecure, promised it wouldn't happen again, but it did happen again and again. Every few weeks there'd be a new incident where he'd call me names, then apologize and act like everything should just go back to normal, like his apology was a magic reset button that erased what he said. The final straw came last month. We were at the grocery store and I ran into my ex-boyfriend from college. We talked for maybe 2 minutes, just basic small talk about work and life. Super casual, super friendly. Mike didn't say anything at the store, but the second we got in the car, he exploded, called me every name in the book, said I was a disrespectful bawk who was probably cheating on him. He was yelling so loud that spit was flying everywhere. I sat there in the passenger seat and something just clicked. This was never going to stop. He'd shown me exactly who he was, and I'd been making excuses for him for months. When we got home, I packed a bag and told him I was done. That's when he completely switched, started crying and begging me to stay, said he'd change for real this time, that he'd go to therapy, that he needed me. I didn't budge. Now he's been texting me nonstop saying I never really loved him, that I was just planning to leave him all along, and I filled his head with false hope. He said I'm just like every other girl who's abandoned him and that I gave up on him when he needed me most. His friends have been messaging me too, saying I'm heartless for leaving him when he's trying to work on himself, that relationships take work and I'm just running away at the first sign of trouble. But here's the thing. This wasn't the first sign of trouble. This was like the 20th sign. I gave him chance after chance and he kept crossing the same boundary I'd set from day one. My friend Emma told me she's proud of me for finally standing up for myself. She said she'd been watching him disrespect me for months and was worried I'd never leave.